Hello, my little earthlings. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about something pretty interesting that I have not really seen get covered when it comes to webcomicking and trying to maintain the grind. So this topic has to do with, are you an introvert or are you an extrovert? So you might be asking yourself, why is it important to know whether or not I'm an introvert or an extrovert if I'm creating webcomics? Well, it's actually very important, and I came to this conclusion about a year ago, actually, when I was listening to another YouTuber that makes webcomic tutorial videos that I really, really enjoy. It's McKay and Gray. I highly recommend checking out their channel as well. Their stuff really helped get me inspired and taught me a lot about letting go of a lot of anxiety and stress around trying to make webcomics and just trying to focus on getting it done, because that's all that matters, is getting something out there. We as human beings often will put so many roadblocks in our own way because I think we honestly fear creating something of ourselves. I think we deep down fear that if we do, we won't know what the outcome is, and that outcome might be different than what we originally imagined, and that's scary. So it's actually easier to sabotage ourselves than to let ourselves kind of make decisions and see where those decisions take us. So understanding if you're an introvert or an extrovert with webcomicking can really help guide you in making sure you don't get off track. A lot of what you're going to discover in your personal journey with working on any kind of creative career goal is that it becomes a passion not because it's something that you dream of and you think to yourself, like, if only I had this thing, it would make me happy, because it overuses some kind of function in my personality that makes me happy. But instead, you end up realizing it's a passion that you enjoy because it teaches you about yourself, because you grow from it and you learn from it, and you realize so much more about yourself than you ever could have possibly imagined through the experience of doing it. So learning it about yourself, if you're an introvert or an extrovert, can be useful for webcomicking, because, like, for myself personally, I'm an extrovert, and unfortunately webcomicking is a very much an introverted sort of activity, where this is just my opinion, but I feel like introverts probably enjoy working on webcomics a lot more because it's their natural state of being, to be able to be alone and recharge, to, when they're in their environment where they're alone and recharging, at any point in time after they've recharged, they can get up, work on their comic, not have to worry about anything. And often, I know, like in McKay and Gray's videos, I don't really know if they're introverts or extroverts. I don't want to assume one way or the other because I don't really know. But I do know that they often say in the videos, I know Ursula says, when you're working on your webcomic, you come to a realization that you have to sometimes turn down friend hangouts and activities when your friends are asking you to come out and socialize so you can work on your webcomic. And you might feel bad about it, but you're remembering that you're putting this need first. You're prioritizing yourself and your dreams and all this other stuff, for something bigger. And, you can still make time for your friends, but you might find yourself having to often turn down hanging out in social events. And while I think that is probably useful for introverts, especially for introverts who feel a lot of anxiety, or they feel a lot of guilt about their friends inviting them out, and then they don't want to go out, or they can't because they're working on their own project. For me, it does not suit me as an extrovert to turn down my friends asking me to hang out when I'm working on my webcomic. I've actually found that this is the advice I'd give for you. If you're an extrovert like me, make sure that you are saying yes to your social events. Now, this is a balancing act. The reason why I say this is because if you are an extrovert, you are going to need that socialization with your friends in order to charge yourself enough so when you come home and you have your downtime, you can sit and you can work on your webcomic. So it might take a bit of discipline in the way that if you like to be an extrovert like me where you're out 4 times a week, I don't, honestly, as long as I'm out once a week, maybe twice, that's enough. Sometimes what it would do is it would charge me enough that I could have 4 or 5 days hanging out with people, and then the next week I could go multiple days. I could go 3 or 4 days without hanging out around people, because I'd gotten charged enough. So it all depends on how you charge your battery. And so, yeah, if you're an extrovert like me, and you're finding it's just like a grind to work on your webcomic, and then you also got this advice to turn down friend hangouts, and you don't know why you can't get any energy to work on your webcomic, it might be because you're an extrovert and you need to go and get yourself charged up so you can come back and you've got that excitement to work on your webcomic. So keep that in mind. Determining how many days of the week you need to go out to get that as an extrovert is up to you, because introverts and extroverts are kind of on a scale, like they're on a spectrum, and it depends on how far down the extrovert or on the introvert side you are. I know that I have lived the complete opposite life before. I have done the introvert thing for 3 years where I really didn't have much of a social life or friends, and I can say, yeah, I ended up getting in my own little world and working on my webcomic a lot, but I can also say that I didn't even pick up working on my webcomic consistently until after I already was getting a job where I was out and like around people. So even just having my day job be around people was enough to keep me kind of motivated. But yeah, just keep that in mind, and if you're an introvert and you really need that alone time to recharge, then yes, I agree to make sure you are turning down friend hangouts so you can get that alone time to yourself so you can work on your webcomic. But just remember, it does involve discipline either way to make sure that when you do have that time and you are charged up, that you work on your comic. So that's all I have for this video today. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think it matters whether or not you need to be an introvert or an extrovert? It was something that, I don't know, I just realized I had not really seen people talk about this, and for myself it would have been really bad advice if I told myself to try to do things the way that says turn down social events, because my comic would have just crashed and burned. So yeah, let me know what you think about this. Drop me a comment down below, hit like and subscribe. It really helps support this channel, and I'll be able to continue creating more work like this to be able to help out you fellow webcomickers. And I will see you guys in the next video.